Matos Masei. In Parshas Matos, we learn about the story of the Bnei Gad and the Bnei Reuven, right? That they came to Moshe and they requested that they wanted to take the land on the eastern side of the Jordan River. And Moshe Rabbeinu was very upset with them, and he came down on them very hard, and he gave them very strong musar that you are causing the dissent among the people, because you're going to say the people are going to feel that you don't want to go into Eretz Yisrael and that you're scared, and you're going to cause them all to fear to go into Eretz Yisrael, and then we won't get the land, and we were already here 40 years because of the Meraglim. What are you doing? Mamish came down very hard on them until they swore that they would go and fight and be in the front lines in conquering Eretz Yisrael. Usually, the way this thing is approached is that the Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven were very foolish because they forsook their rights to the mainland of Eretz Yisrael because of their monetary interests. But I saw a very interesting perspective brought by Rav Isaac Sher, the Rosh Hashiva of Slobodka. In his writings, he says a fascinating thing. He says, Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven, we have to understand we're doing something that in truth they meant totally l'shem shamayim. Why? Chazal tell us when Yaakov Avinu had the famous battle with the angel, why was he left by himself? So Chazal say that Yaakov Avinu went back for pachim ketanim. He went back to get small jugs. So Chazal say, what's that all about? Yaakov Avinu was an extremely wealthy guy. He was extremely wealthy. And so what you going back for small jugs? So Chazal say, to teach you that tzaddikim, because they're not involved in taking anything which is unlawful, therefore everything counts to them. Says Rabbi Isaac Sher, what does that mean? He says, you have to understand the depth of that is that a tzaddik sees that whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you, he gave you for a purpose. And therefore, I don't take anything that's not mine. It was given to me, that it has something, a purpose that's there to serve. And therefore, Yaakov Avinu said, if I left something behind, I don't have the right to do that. That's something that Hashem gave me. That has a holy purpose. Says Rav Isaac Sher, the Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven said, Hashem gave us this tremendous flocks, these flocks of cattle and sheep. And now we conquered this land. And this is the ideal land. So it means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, put your head on. You've got all these flocks. This is the land for it. This is where you should be. So therefore, l'shem shamayim, they felt that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu was showing them. He says, okay. So he says, so then why was Moshe Rabbeinu so hard on them? They were doing l'shem shamayim. So why has Moshe Rabbeinu come down like a ton of bricks on them? Why? So Rav Isaac Sher, and I'll do it slightly different than him. It's a basic idea, but slightly different than what he says. I say, there are two sides to everything. Yes, we have to see the blessing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives. But we also have to know that anything that we have as a blessing is also a trial. It's also a nisoya. It's a test. Because Shlomo Melech says, you can be poor, it's a trial. You can be wealthy, it's a trial. A person always has to stop and think, what is the extent? What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do? So he says, that was the lesson that Moshe Rabbeinu had for them. You've made this cheshbon. So, okay, Hashem gave me the money, gave me the flocks, He gave me the land. It obviously fits together, right? Obviously, this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do. Yes. But then stop. Is this exactly the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to use it? Maybe I've got to do something in addition. Maybe I've got to do something to bolster. Or maybe there are other things, other factors that come in. Life has its complications for all of us. Because that's what life's all about. Life is there for us to deal with all of our circumstances and to judge them and to know how to deal with them. So yes, we have to recognize the bracha, and we have to recognize the hand of Hashem, and we have to appreciate what Hashem gives us, and we have to make use of it properly. And that's where the test is. Am I doing it properly? That's what Moshe Rabbeinu said to Bnei Gad and Bnei Reuven. Yes, Rabbi, you're right. But how are you going to affect everybody else? You got to think about that too. We should all have tremendous bracha from the Rabban Shalom and recognize the bracha and use the bracha, but use it properly.